This is the IELTS listening test. You will hear a number of different recordings and you will have to answer questions on what you hear. There will be time for you to read the instructions and questions, and you will have a chance to check your work. All the recordings will be played once only. The test is in 4 parts. At the end of the test, you will be given 10 minutes to transfer your answers to the answer sheet. Now turn to Part 1. Part 1. You will hear a conversation between a young job seeker, Michael, and a representative from a recruitment firm. Now listen carefully and answer the questions 1 to 7.
Good morning. Am I speaking with Apex Career Services?
Yes, you are. How can I assist you today?
Hi, I'm Michael Dawson. I called earlier regarding job opportunities for the summer. I believe I need to provide more details for my profile.
That's correct, Michael. I see your record here, but we need additional details to complete your profile. Could you share your highest level of education?
Sure. I'm currently pursuing my degree in business administration, though I have an interest in finance as well.
Great. There's always demand for finance professionals. Have you had any work experience related to that field?
Not exactly. I almost got a position as an investment analyst, but my only job so far has been as a retail assistant.
That's still valuable experience, especially for developing customer service skills. Do you have any hobbies that might highlight other strengths?
Well, I spend most of my time studying, but when I do have some free time, I enjoy playing strategic games like Sudoku.
That's excellent for problem-solving skills. Now, let's discuss your core competencies. What would you say is your strongest skill?
I'm in my 3rd year studying business strategies and financial planning, but I'd say my greatest strength is market analysis.
That's a valuable skill. We may be able to find you a role in that field. How much are you expecting to earn per month?
I'm open to industry standards, maybe around $1,400.
Let's record it as $1,300 for now. When would you be available to start?
I can start right away. Just let me know.
That's good to hear. Is there anything else you'd like to add that might support your application?
Well, I do speak another language.
Oh? If it's Mandarin, that could be quite beneficial.
No, it's French. I learned it while studying abroad.
That's still useful. Now, before we wrap up, would you like to know what employers value most when hiring?
Absolutely.
Before you hear the rest of the conversation, you have some time to look at questions 8 to 10. Now listen and answer the questions 8 to 10.
Employers certainly appreciate diligent workers, but they also need individuals who can approach problems with a fresh perspective. Routine experience is helpful, but a dynamic personality that fosters a positive work environment is even better.
That makes sense. What about qualifications?
Of course, qualifications matter, but more importantly, employers look for employees who can handle unexpected challenges and resolve issues effectively.
That's really insightful. Oh, wait, one more thing. Do employers prefer candidates with specific certifications?
Certifications can be helpful, but they aren't always the deciding factor. Some companies prioritize experience and adaptability over formal qualifications.
That makes sense. Also regarding salary, if I prove myself, is there potential for a raise?
Absolutely. Many employers offer performance-based raises after a probationary period. But of course, it depends on the company.
Great to know. I guess I'll just have to prove my worth. Well, thanks for all the helpful information. I appreciate it.
That is the end of Part 1. You now have half a minute to check your answers to Part 1. Part 2. Part 2, you will hear a presentation given by the director of a local sports complex. First, you have some time to look at questions 11 to 16. Now listen carefully and answer questions 11 to 16.
Good evening, everyone. It is a great pleasure to welcome all of you here tonight on behalf of the Westwood Sports Centre. My name is Richard Langston, and I am the founder of this facility. Today marks a very special occasion as it has been exactly 10 years since we first opened our doors to the public. Additionally, next month, we will be attending the annual Regional Business Gala, where we have been shortlisted for the Community Impact Award. We are delighted to share this journey with all of you. As you may already know, many of you present here today are representatives of the local press, and we appreciate your continued support in covering our progress. Located in the heart of Grandview City, Westwood Sports Centre is a premier venue that offers a diverse range of sports and fitness facilities for both students and residents. The centre features a professional swimming pool, multiple jogging tracks, a high-tech gym, all-weather courts, and an outstanding ice skating rink. We are proud to have a growing community of health-conscious individuals, and studies indicate that our town has a healthier population compared to the national average. Our skating rink in particular holds a special place in my heart, as it has inspired more children from local schools to take up ice skating as a hobby and competitive sport. While we take pride in our facility producing elite athletes, our biggest achievement has been engaging more youth in sports activities. Initially, we struggled with participation, as many parents worried about the cost of training, but we introduced affordable programs to encourage more children to join. As part of our expansion, we have recently introduced a new fitness class designed specifically for young parents. This includes guided workouts where mothers and fathers can bring their infants and participate in low-impact exercises together. Furthermore, in the coming months, we will be launching a specialized program for senior citizens, offering tailored exercise routines. Meanwhile, a newly renovated swimming pool now features special discounts for individuals who are currently unemployed. Some of our members have asked whether these discounts apply to part-time workers, but for now, they are only for the unemployed. Our current operational hours are from 7 a.m. to 10 p.m., 7 days a week, except on national holidays. As for future plans, we are looking to expand our services. Next year, we will be selling a range of gym and sports training equipment, from strength-building machines to recovery tools. There were initial discussions about extending our hours to 24-hour service, but after surveying our members, we found that demand was not high enough to justify it. We also believe in fostering a safe and inclusive sporting environment. Our team is dedicated to maintaining high safety standards, and we encourage individuals who are passionate about community health and wellness to apply for positions on our advisory board. This board plays a crucial role in shaping our policies and ensuring we continue to provide the best services. Some people have suggested that we introduce a volunteer coaching program instead, but at the moment we are focusing on policy development.
Before you hear the rest of the talk, you have some time to look at questions 17 to 20. Now listen and answer questions 17 to 20.
Now let's talk about some of the standout facilities that our sports centre offers. The 50-metre swimming pool is undoubtedly one of our most sought-after amenities. It is frequently used for professional training, leisure swimming, and even school competitions. Additionally, it can be booked for private events, including birthday parties, with certified lifeguards available to oversee the sessions. Some people assume it is only available for adult swimming classes, but we ensure it accommodates all age groups. For those who enjoy a more adventurous challenge, our climbing wall is a must-visit. While some may perceive climbing as a high-risk activity, our experienced trainers ensure that it is a safe and beneficial sport particularly for young individuals looking to enhance their physical endurance and flexibility. Initially, there were concerns about safety regulations, but we have now fully updated all our equipment to meet national standards. Our skating rink deserves another mention, as it has recently gained widespread recognition after appearing in a popular sports documentary. Furthermore, it holds the title of the largest indoor skating rink in the region. While many believe we are planning to expand it further, we currently have no such plans due to space limitations. Lastly, our modern fitness gym provides a welcoming space for both beginners and seasoned athletes. We offer the latest workout equipment and allow members to track their progress digitally. Additionally, those interested can book personalized training sessions with certified coaches to help them develop structured fitness plans. Some visitors mistakenly think that personal coaching is only available to professional athletes, but it is actually open to anyone interested in improving their fitness level. Thank you all for being here today, and we hope you continue to support the growth of our sports complex.
That is the end of Part 2. You now have half a minute to check your answers to Part 2. Now listen carefully and answer questions 21 to 25.
All right, team. Let's go over the key presentation techniques we've come up with for our upcoming seminar. Oliver, do you want to start?
Sure. My first tip is to never be late. Some people say getting there ahead of time is even better because you might catch a lucky break and have everything go smoothly. I'm not completely sure about that, but at least you can make sure everything is ready. I once arrived just on time for a talk, and the projector wasn't working. It was a disaster.
I completely agree. Plus, arriving early allows you to check for any technical difficulties before beginning. While people are settling in, it's also a great moment to casually introduce yourself. And if you're really early, you can even get used to the atmosphere and feel more comfortable.
Absolutely. Mia had some great insights on how to open a presentation.
Yes, a strong opening is key. And no matter what, never apologize. If you're nervous or unsure about how well it will go, don't let the audience know. Just stay confident and deliver your content. Most of the time, people are too distracted by their own thoughts to notice minor mistakes. I once saw a speaker start by saying, "Sorry, I didn't have much time to prepare." It completely ruined their credibility.
That's a great tip.
Another effective approach is to begin by answering 3 core questions. What's the issue? Why does it matter? What's the solution? And if possible, engage the audience by asking a rhetorical question or telling a short, relevant story.
That's a great structure. Ethan, I see you thinking. What's on your mind?
Oh, I was just about to mention CCP. That stands for Concrete, Concept, and Practicality. It means that for every topic you present, you should start with a real-world example, expand it into a broader concept, and then bring it back to a specific instance. This structure improves engagement and helps people retain what they learn. If you only focus on theory, people will lose interest.
That makes sense. I have another key tip, one that should always be followed. Make sure every attendee gets a handout. A tangible record of your presentation helps reinforce learning and makes it easier for them to recall the key details later. I once attended a workshop with no handouts, and by the end, I could barely remember anything useful.
That ties into another important point. Know your audience. This is fundamental to public speaking. If you can determine what kind of information they're most used to, you can shape your delivery style accordingly. That way, there's less chance of miscommunication. For example, a technical audience might prefer charts and statistics, whereas a general audience might benefit more from storytelling.
I completely agree. Speaking of engaging the audience, let's discuss visual aids. Some people overuse projectors. Do we really need one all the time?
Before you hear the rest of the discussion, you have some time to look at questions 26 to 30. Now listen and answer questions 27 to 30.
I actually think it's usually necessary, but I understand where you're coming from. A good rule is to ensure your slides support your speech rather than replace it. If you just read from your slides, the audience might as well be reading a book.
Exactly. Too much or too little information on a slide can be distracting. Finding the right balance is crucial. And don't forget to use visuals. People process images faster than words.
Those are excellent points. Another thing to consider is showing respect for your audience. Avoid oversimplifying your material or speaking down to them. People appreciate being treated as knowledgeable individuals.
I'd also like to mention humor. Humor can be an asset, but only if it contributes to your message. If you're just inserting jokes that don't align with your topic, it's better to leave them out. I once heard someone start with a joke that had nothing to do with the presentation. It just confused everyone.
Absolutely, Oliver. Also avoid jokes that could offend specific groups. It's always safer to stick to neutral humor. And if you're not naturally funny, don't force it. Just be yourself.
And let's not forget inclusive language. Try not to use gendered pronouns exclusively. They is a great neutral alternative. The last thing you want is to unintentionally alienate part of your audience.
Good point. Now, looking at the conclusion, handling audience questions is crucial. Many people won't judge your entire talk, but they will remember how you answer their questions. Allowing a short pause before responding gives you time to formulate a strong answer. If you rush into a response, you might say something unclear or incorrect.
That's so true. And another thing, try to wrap up a little earlier than expected, Q29. People will appreciate getting a few extra minutes back in their schedule, and they'll likely have a better impression of your talk as a result. If you finish early, people might even come up to talk to you afterward, which can be a great networking opportunity.
Another major point is practice. Rehearse your presentation multiple times. If you can, record yourself and analyze both your speaking and body language. You'll notice things you never realized before. And don't just memorize your script. Practice speaking naturally.
One final tip, something simple but often overlooked. Stay hydrated. Speaking for a long time can be dehydrating, especially in air-conditioned spaces. Drink water beforehand and keep a bottle nearby to sip as needed. And, if possible, avoid alcohol before speaking. It can dry out your throat and affect your voice. Also, avoid too much caffeine. It can make you jittery.
These are all great insights. Now, let's put them into a structured format.
That is the end of part 3. You now have half a minute to check your answers to part 1. Part 4, you will hear a lecture about the history of bicycles and their development over time. First, you have some time to look at questions 31 to 40. Now listen carefully and answer questions 31 to 40.
Good afternoon, everyone. It's great to have you here at our exhibition, A Journey Through Bicycle History. Let's explore the fascinating evolution of this two-wheeled marvel together. Although there were early attempts in the 18th century, bicycles did not become widely recognized until the 1820s in France. Rapid urban expansion at that time made walking long distances impractical. In response, people sought a new mode of transportation, one that required less effort than walking. Bicycles quickly became an affordable alternative to horses. It's interesting to consider why bicycles weren't invented earlier. For thousands of years, people relied on walking or animal-powered transport, but the rise of the industrial age encouraged mechanical solutions for everyday needs. That said, the first bicycles lacked efficiency, and many were skeptical about their usefulness. However, these early bikes had several drawbacks. There were no pedals, so riders had to push off with their feet, much like today's scooters. This meant traveling was slow, and climbing hills was extremely difficult. Furthermore, the wheels were made of solid wood with iron rims, which made for a bumpy and uncomfortable ride. Some models even had additional supports, which were supposed to stabilize the ride but actually made turning more challenging. By the 1840s, bicycles underwent significant improvements. Metal frames replaced wooden ones, making them more durable and weather-resistant. The most crucial advancement was the introduction of the chain and gear system. With gears connected, riders no longer needed to push themselves along but could pedal instead. This innovation revolutionized cycling, allowing for smoother rides, though balancing the bike became more challenging at first. People had to practice quite a bit before they felt comfortable using the new mechanism. In the 1870s, another breakthrough emerged: the introduction of rubber tires. Initially, these were made of solid rubber, which provided more comfort than iron and wood. However, as speeds increased, riders could feel every bump along the way. The invention of air-filled tires in the 1890s further improved shock absorption, making cycling even more comfortable. That said, these new tires were expensive, meaning not everyone could afford them right away. By the 1880s, bicycles featured equal-sized wheels, a major shift in design. This made cycling more stable, as riders no longer had to balance on an oversized front wheel. However, these advancements introduced new challenges, particularly braking. In the early days, stopping required dragging one's feet, which was unreliable and dangerous, especially in urban environments. Before the invention of modern brakes, riders had little control over their speed. Some even resorted to using their hands to slow down, which obviously wasn't ideal. Let's discuss safety for a moment. One of the biggest risks with early bicycles was going downhill too quickly. Even today, cyclists can reach speeds exceeding 100 kilometers per hour when descending steep slopes. On level ground, some high-performance bicycles can be ridden at over 65 kilometers per hour. However, without a protective shell like a car, the consequences of losing control can be severe. Many serious accidents occur when cyclists ride too fast for conditions. Riders were often unaware of the dangers, leading to frequent crashes and injuries. Now, what made today's bicycles so much faster than their predecessors? While athletic ability plays a role, the answer is largely mechanical. The introduction of gear-shifting mechanisms revolutionized cycling. If you examine this bicycle model, you'll notice a multi-speed system on the rear wheel. By adjusting the gear settings, cyclists can control their acceleration, choosing higher gears for downhill descents and lower gears for climbing slopes more easily. This advancement made cycling far more efficient and accessible for riders of all skill levels. However, learning how to shift gears properly took time, and many riders initially struggled with selecting the right settings. And with that, let's move over to our section on competitive cycling and the role of bicycles in professional sports.
That is the end of section 4. You now have half a minute to check your answers.